Welcome to the Not Superheroes Gets Dads podcast. No, we can't fly. No, we can't shoot lasers or pick up giant buildings. But what we can do is help set the foundations for our families, be present for our kids, and combat generational cycles. On this podcast, we dive into everything dad related, from the struggles we deal with as fathers to what our favorite thing to barbecue is. Hello, I'm Sean Laurie. Hope you guys are having an amazing day today. Man, before we start, like always, make sure you like, subscribe, share, tell a friend. Like I tell you guys all the time, right? I appreciate the love, the support, the text messages, the DMs, all them, all them different things that you guys just send me, just telling me that you're enjoying it and to keep going. So, with that being said, man, I'm excited. I'm happy to have my boy Dennis. How are you doing today, my
How's it going,
guy?
man? Doing good, doing good. And you?
I'm good, man. Just lay the kids down, so it's good. It's good now. It's
I
quiet.
understand.
It's quiet. But so I like to do icebreakers. So I wanted to ask you, man, I guess it's a two-part question, but
Shoot.
what has it been fatherhood been like for you so far, raising your son, and then you being from um originally from New York but now San Antonio, do you wish that you was raising your son in New York? I know that's a two-part question, but
So, can you repeat that first question? You said, what's it like raising my son?
yeah, so what has fatherhood been like for you so far, raising your son? Because your son's how old is he
He
right now?
just turned 9 not too long ago. He turned 9 back in
Nine.
July.
Okay.
So, I get my son every other weekend. And usually when I get
Okay.
him, I try and teach him little things here and there, like, how to work an impact wrench, or when you cross the street, make sure to look both ways. Little stuff like that. Like I said, like I
Yeah.
said, I only get him like every other weekend. So it's like, there's only so much I can cram into his little head, because he's not going to remember everything.
Yeah. True.
But
True.
but in regards to raising him in New York, honestly, man, I'd rather raise him here because New York is just too expensive. It's too
True.
expensive, bro. And
True.
like, you just no, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. No, I'd rather just raise him here. You know, co-parent with the mom, be civil, and that's it. But in
Yeah,
New
yeah, yeah. Now. Oh no, go ahead. My
no,
bad.
but
My
in New
bad.
York, that's a no go. Go ahead.
No, no. I was just gonna say. So is your family still in New York, or did they move
I have
out here
brothers and
too?
sisters that are still in New York, but I don't see them moving out of New York. They've lived there practically their whole lives. So they have their lives there. They say they've been wanting to come down and check out Texas, but I don't see it happening. I just don't see it
Mm,
happening. And well, the only
okay.
family that I have here is my nephew and my mom's, and that's it.
Okay. Okay. So then, if I don't know if your siblings have any kids, but then that means your son has cousins and stuff like that too. If they have kids that he basically be able to play with and hang out over there
In New
too, right?
York, yeah. I think he's only been to New
Yeah.
York once though. Yeah, just once.
Oh, okay.
When he was
Okay.
like just like a little baby.
Yeah, it's just. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that sucker's expensive.
You
So
know,
I understand that for sure. Because being from California, it's not much cheaper.
I can't imagine.
So, so yeah, yeah. So it's crazy. So with that being said, man, you said something too. As far as like you try to teach your son as much as you can and things like that, right? So like, what lessons you think from your own upbringing do you want to pass down to like your son?
What lessons from my own upbringing? Well,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say my own upbringing, but more along the lines of life lessons I've learned.
Mm.
Those I want to teach him. Like, for example, really get to know someone before getting married to them. Stuff like that. Don't jump into a relationship. Don't jump into marriage. Hell, don't even jump into any marriage at all. If you ask me, it's not worth it anymore. Um,
Mm.
be careful who you have kids with, stuff like that, man. I mean, hell, even things like,
Yeah.
changing a tire. Like, I think every man should know how to change a tire. You'd be
Yeah.
surprised by how many people don't know how to change a tire.
Oh yeah, everybody wants to just pay
Of
for
course,
everything.
dude.
That's
Or
fine,
they,
man.
or or they have what's that service called where they come and change
Oh,
AAA?
AAA.
Exactly. They have AAA. It's like,
Yeah,
bro, by the time you're done waiting for AAA, I already changed my own tire. Exactly. I got power tools in my truck. I got an impact wrench for my
yeah,
lug nuts, and I bought another jack to lift up my truck because those little dealership jacks
yeah.
garbage. So I bought my own jack.
No, that's smart. Cause
Exactly.
the. Oh, what was that?
I don't say anything.
Oh, my bad, bro. It's been getting all choppy on my side, but like I said, I can fix
It's
all
fine.
this, so I ain't tripping on that. But no, I was gonna say yeah, cause I had to get and well, no, I actually have to get another jack, cause the one I hate the one that they give you. It's not as good as like I could buy one off of
That's what I did.
Amazon or AutoZone or
That's what I
something.
did.
Yeah, that would be much better. You know what I mean? So I agree, bro. I agree. Um, I was gonna ask you too, man, because what you said, like, just teaching him life lessons and things like that. And so, you know, we're in this day and age, which it isn't a bad thing, but I don't think it's a bad thing, but at the same time, it's like not complete. And what I mean by that, y'all, is a lot of times we tell our boys, right, how they should treat girls. And, we tell our girls, right, I have boys and girls, but we tell our girls, right, how they should expect to be treated. But we don't always flip it that way. We don't always flip it to the other side, right? So I want to ask you, bro, like, why do you think that is?
I don't know, man. I guess the way the society is and social media. Social media. Look at social media, man. Look at all these posts about, I'm not gonna sit here and say and berate women. I'm not. But you look at some of these posts about some of the stuff that men are going through, men being cheated on, men being put through the grinder, doing, everything. So it's like you have to come to the conclusion. It's like, okay, I'm expected to treat us, men are expected to treat a woman a certain way. But why is it that no one ever teaches, you know, how a man should be expected to be treated, I mean, does a
True.
man have to go through life, suffering because he's being treated bad? Is there no respect? That's a big one, man. Respect.
That's a huge one,
Respect.
bro. That's a huge one. Yeah, that's a huge one, man.
I'm,
Respect. I feel like respect and expectations, right? Because I know I was thinking to myself like when my boys start dating, for example, right? I want them to carry themselves a certain way, just like how we tell women, right, or our daughters as they're growing up, right? Hey, like you're special, right? Don't give that piece of yourself to any man, right? Like why don't we tell our sons the same thing, right? Why don't we tell our sons, hey, you know what, value yourself. Like not everybody can get a piece of you, right? Like, but unfortunately, like you said, society says like for a man, hey, if you're a man, you gotta mess with all these different chicks, right? You gotta do all these different things. But for me, I'm gonna tell my sons, hey, have high quality, right? If you're gonna talk to a woman, date a woman as you get older, why can't she be a doctor? Why can't she be a lawyer? Why does she just have to be a chick you met at the bar? Why does she have to be, you know what I mean? Like, if you start having certain standards just like they do, right? What is wrong with that? What is understanding your value? And I feel like a lot of times we don't have that value, and so a lot of times man's value is more so um, weighed on how does the woman view you, right? Like I remember I had a homeboy and shout out to the one I mean Darwin, sorry, but he was saying that he's from New York and he was saying that I'm sorry, not New York, Atlanta,
wow.
bro. He was saying literally like everyone had to basically like to keep up with that lifestyle to have like a woman even look at you, basically you had to sell drugs, like you had to be that type of lifestyle, yeah, like because the women expected certain things, and for you to even talk to certain type of women you had to make a certain amount of money, so it wasn't enough to have a 9 to 5, right,
Yeah,
which
you
is
gotta
crazy,
have a
like wait,
side
what,
hustle
like
like crypto or
yeah, you have to have a side hustle, man. And so like the Atlanta Housewives and all them different shows, Desperate Housewives, right? All those
Garbage.
shows showed like, oh, this is how we should all be. This is how we should be treated, right? Instead of like, oh, this is entertainment. So yeah, bro, I definitely agree with you on that, man. So like, what do you want your son, I guess, to understand about how he deserves to be treated by others, not just how he should treat them?
So what I want my kid to get into his head is I want him. Well, first of all, if he's being trampled on, or if he's being just used and being put through the grinder by any sort of woman, I'm gonna tell him, have enough self-respect to walk away. Walk away.
Mm,
Walk away, dude. If you feel like you're being used, or if women see you as a client, I hate that word, as a client, walk away.
yeah,
Walk the hell away, dude. It ain't worth it. Your silence will speak
yeah.
volumes. Walk away.
Mm, no,
Have
that's real, bro.
self-respect. Enough self-respect and
Mm.
love for yourself to walk away.
Now, how like because right, we've all been through those, or a lot of us have. I shouldn't say all. A lot of us been through those ups and downs, bro. How like different experiences that you had, bro. How did you realize like, okay, this situation isn't good for me, right? Where it's like, hey, I'm the one pouring in, you know, in any relationship, right? Like over your lifetime, but you're like, I'm the one that's pouring or invested more in this relationship, and they're not doing the same, or they're not treating me with respect, but I'm making sure I'm respecting them. Like, how was you able to navigate through that? If you ever dealt with something like that before?
Something like that, man. Well, that's easy. If you're the one putting in all the work and you start seeing that they're not doing much of anything, that's easy. Match their energy. If they're not doing anything, don't do anything for them. Why should it be you who
Mm,
has to do everything? Why can't it be,
mm,
just, I'm not saying for a woman to be spontaneous all the time. No, but shit, once in a while, it would be nice. Surprise us. We like
yeah,
surprises.
yeah,
Surprises.
true.
Hell, if you would have surprised me like, yo, I got you some McDonald's or something small, or I got you a case of beer, enjoy it.
Mm,
Something small, bro. It doesn't have to be big. Something small. Surprise us.
yeah.
But like I said, if she's not putting in anything, that's fine. I'm gonna match your energy. You putting in nothing,
Mm.
I ain't gonna put in nothing.
Now, now with that though, would that make just a toxic environment where right y'all both just kind of like not giving, so y'all both just it's probably gonna be bumping heads or something like that because of that. Like you said, matching her energy, but her energy sucks. So now you matching and now y'all both just in a funky mood. You know what I
If it
mean?
ain't, bro,
And then that's
if it
all of a
ain't meant
sudden.
to be,
Oh,
if
go
it
ahead.
ain't meant to be, it ain't meant to be. Walk away. It all boils
True.
down to just
True.
walk away. Don't force something that's not meant to be. Like I said, if you're the
Mm,
one putting in all the work, trust me, it ain't gonna last long. It ain't gonna last long.
true.
Match your energy,
True. Now,
or just walk away.
now, why do you think? Because right, I feel like for me, I feel like it starts what we talked about. It starts like the foundation, like our upbringing, right? So like, why do you think it's so, especially in today's age, right? Like I thank God that I don't have to, I don't have to deal with that. But in today's age, like it's rare where, because honestly, bro, what you're talking about to me, it feels like, you know, a lot of women aren't nurture or they think they know what nurturing is, but they're not really
Hell no.
nurturing, right? Because at the end of the day, like it shouldn't be a struggle for, let's say you just got off of work, you had a long day, and she goes, hey, I got a beer for you. Hey, whatever. Hey, I was already home, so I already got dinner ready. Whatever, right? Something just simple like that, right?
Exactly.
So, we're so where do you think though? Like, I guess I should say like this. Why do you think? Because a lot of times is I guess the moms or even the dads. Why do you think that they're not prepping them to be like, hey, this is how you be a great spouse, a great wife, a great girlfriend? Like, why do you think that's not there? Why do you think that's being, I guess, not even talked about, right? Like, because now in today's age, like a lot of women can't even cook. A guy should be able to cook too. I'm not saying they shouldn't be able to cook, but I'm just saying, like, now it's almost like in today's age, bro. It's almost like the roles are almost reversed with a lot of things, right? So, like, why do you think that is? Is it because we're in this new era of, um, I guess it's nothing wrong with it, but like this women empowerment, but I feel like it's gone overboard where it's like, hey, yeah, you know what,
Mm.
you should sleep with everybody. Hey, and he should pay for every single thing. Hey, he should just be thankful that you even uh uh made bought dinner or whatever the case is, right? So like, what do you think? Where do you think that all stems from, bro?
Feminism. It all boils
Mm,
down to feminism, dude. Look what it is doing. Look what it's doing.
mm,
And then on top
yeah.
of that, to answer your
Mm,
other question on as to why people aren't really being taught how to, how to treat each other. Well, also you have to
mm-hmm.
look at it like this: how many single mother homes do you think there is? I'm not trying to bash on single moms. I'm not.
Mm,
There's a lot of good moms out there,
yeah.
but at the same time, there's
Yeah.
also a lot of bitter ones. So, how many do you think there are,
Mm,
out there that are not exactly teaching their kids the right, right stuff, right values?
mm, mm.
Single
That's
parent
real.
households, man.
No, that's
Single parent households. I'll just put it
that's
like
real.
that. Hell,
No,
it
that's
could be single fathers too. I'm not gonna bash on single moms, but there's men out there who have
yeah,
sole custody of their kids, and they could be, douchebags, trashing the mother.
yeah,
So it goes both ways. Single parent households. That's the only
yeah,
thing I can
yeah.
think of.
No, well, I actually like what you just brought up, bro, because I look at it like, again, like you said, not all mothers, not things like that, but there is some of those mothers, right, where it's almost like they look, especially if they have a son, they look at it like, I'm going to make you the quote unquote perfect person, right, to be with, right? So, or it's almost like they're almost dating their kid, and like it just be a weird
Yeah.
dynamic to me, right? Where they're like they're trying to mold them to be a certain way, right? So then when they do date, they're thinking, hey, yeah, like it is supposed to just be me pouring strictly into them, and they're not supposed to pour back, right? Because it's like, hey, you know what? Your dad never did this, so I'm gonna make sure you do this. You know what I mean? Like I've seen that before, bro. Where I'm like, well, you're not helping teaching your son how to be a man, right? You're not helping him to understand, hey, this is how you handle certain things. Instead you're having, or shoot, or it ends up being where um the son just relying on the mom and don't even know how to really date or have a real relationship. You know what I mean? So no, that's real, bro, what you said for sure.
Don't get me wrong. There's moms out there who do a great job, but at the same time, it's like
Absolutely.
when it comes to boys, it's like a boy needs his father. He needs to learn
Yeah.
lessons. He needs to be molded on how to truly become a man. And only
Mm,
a
yeah.
father can teach a son certain lessons. I mean,
True.
yeah, a mother can
True.
nurture him all she wants, but that only goes so far.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kids,
No, that's real, bro. I'm it's
kids
oh, go
also
ahead.
need their father.
Absolutely. It's a balance, bro. You gotta have a balance,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, cause I know at times for me I can be too aggressive, right? And then my wife can be a little like too lenient, right? So it's like, okay, we gotta kind of balance each other out. So I agree. So how can fathers, I guess, shift that narrative so boys also learn not only their value, their worth, but also understand boundaries and really stick to that?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, I don't have my son with me all the time, but
Hmm.
ooh, how can we teach our boys to know boundaries? I don't know. That's a good one, man. I have to get back to you on that one. I have to get back to you on that. I don't know
Yeah,
how to answer that,
yeah,
but I
man.
mean, the only thing I can say is as they get older, what I like to do is as my son gets older, I like to give him more in-depth life lessons. So right now, lately, every
Yeah.
time, every weekend I have him, I live in an apartment and we have to walk across the parking lot to get to my truck. But before we park across the parking lot, I always tell him, "What do we do when we cross the road?" He says, "Look both sides." I was like, "Good." But as he gets older, I'm gonna, I'll start giving him more life lessons, ones that'll really
Yeah.
help him out. Like, yeah, like you said, setting boundaries and learning how
Yeah.
to say no and having self-respect.
Mm. Now, because for you, because obviously, like, at the end of the day, I always say, like, a father is their kid's first hero, right? So for you, your son looks up to you, I'm sure, and I know you do the best you can with everything. So do you feel like, from the things you learned and things like that, are you able? Or do you feel like you're being that example you want to show him, right? Are you being that example for him where he's seeing like, oh yeah, dad has boundaries, certain things he's not going to tolerate. Oh yeah, dad understands his value. Dad, even though obviously he only with you for the weekend, but just little glimpses, right? Just little times, whatever. It could be, you're at the store, a chick, I don't know, approaches you or whatever, whoever, right? Just different things like that, man. Do you feel like you're able to, I guess, right, as they say, practice what you preach and be able to instill those? Because a lot of times, right, with our kids, they hear us, but it's more so they're paying attention how we're moving. Like, okay, dad, you're telling me, to have certain boundaries, but as I've gotten older, I realize you're dealing with this chick and she's annoying. Like, why, right, or whatever, right? Like like dad, like, why are you even dealing with her when she doesn't do anything, but every time I see you, you're arguing with her over the phone, right? Like, why are you dealing with this, right? I'm just throwing up some random scenarios, of course, but I asked that, bro, just like, do you feel like you're able to be that example at this stage?
At this stage, well, I'll put it to you like this, man. When I have my son, well,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, when I have my son, I don't bring anyone around him. So if I'm talking to anyone, I don't bring them around him unless I see that that it's something that's gonna get serious. But haven't exactly
Yeah,
gotten to that point. But who cares? Well, so I don't just bring anyone around my son, you
I
know.
like that.
So unless I see
Yeah.
it being a serious thing, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, because I don't want to confuse them, and introduce like
Yeah.
Ian. Let me introduce you to her, or Ian, let me introduce you to her. And he's gonna be like, okay, Jesus, how many women does this guy have? Yeah, so
Yeah.
like I said, I don't bring anyone around him. I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that alone, bro, honestly, that's a boundary in itself. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, that's dope, bro. The fact that you're that mindful of that because you know the effects that can have on
Exactly.
him, right? So you understand that, bro. That's to me that alone is a boundary that you're like, hey, you know what? I respect myself and I respect my son that much that I'm not gonna just bring anyone. Like anyone that actually meets my son, they need to understand, hey, this now is getting serious, right? Now this. I'm not just bringing anyone over. So that's dope, bro.
Exactly.
So how do you balance then teaching your son toughness, but also so
Uh,
this is one I feel like a lot of. Oh, go
no,
ahead. What
go
is it?
ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say how do you because this is something that took a while for me to really I won't say perfect because I haven't perfected it, but to really understand and do really good with is emotional intelligence, right? So how do you balance teaching your son toughness, but also emotional intelligence and self respect? And so I'll say the question again too if you forget, but the reason why I say that too because so a lot of times I've realized like I used to like emotion, right? Like we get too emotional at times as far as anger. Like a lot of times it's just anger because we don't know what else. But when we're able to really understand it and use it, right? One, it helps us, and two, then you can't have if you have a spouse, like if you have a chick, right? That doesn't have the best intentions or is a narcissist or something like really negative towards you, right? Your emotional intelligence is going to make you aware of that so she can't pin those emotions against you. But that's a whole nother thing. I know I just said that. But anyways, how do you balance your son's toughness with also teaching emotional intelligence and self-respect?
Ooh, that's a good one. So, I guess in regards to keeping your emotions in check, I would tell him, every occasionally I tell my son, when if he starts, let's say he bumps his head or he gets a bruise and he starts crying. It's happened before at the playground. It happens to all kids. I tell him, take a breather, take multiple deep breaths
Mm-hmm.
in. That way he calms down. Learn to keep those emotions in check just by breathing. Just by breathing. And for toughness, no, that's a good one. I mean, I guess for toughness, I gotta sometimes you gotta let the kids, learn their lesson, So if they, how do I put it? If they're in the playground and let's say they run into a tree and they get hurt, I was like, okay, yeah. I mean, I guess that you use that as a life lesson. Like, are you gonna do that again?
Yeah.
And at the same time, you think about it, it's
True.
building your toughness. Story I see it. Or you
True.
could just, put them in boxing. But my son's too young for that.
True, true. What for me, what I feel like has been working is letting my kids just deal with adversity, right? Because, um, and all four of mine deal with different adversity, obviously, different personalities, a lot of different personalities, but um, different adversity happens with us, right? As adults. So like it's like how are you going to handle that? How are you going because obviously, especially when you're a kid, when something doesn't go your way or you can't figure something out, the first thing you want to do is, "Hey, Dad, can you fix this? Hey, Dad, can you help me?" And at times, I'm letting my kids know you figure it out, right? And that's building that mental toughness because they get
Hmm.
frustrated, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess you're just not going to, I don't know, drink that water bottle that you want right now because you can't open the water bottle. Well, no, right, and they're gonna figure it out. And I remember I saw like this was a while ago. Um, it was like one of those like I don't know Instagram reels or something, but it was like a family, right? And the son, I don't know, they were like in Japan or something. But the I'm sorry, not the no, the dad went over like some rope, like a little twine or whatever, and there was like it was like a 2 year old, 3 year old crying like wants his dad, right? And the dad just kept walking, like come on, if you want to come on, and he starts crying. He starts moving the rope thing, and he moves it over his head and keeps running, right, to his dad, right. But it forced him to be like, I gotta figure this out because my dad, he's not helping me, like, because he was asking for his dad, like, Dad, come get me. His dad's like, No, come on, and he's like trying to figure it out, like, what the heck? What? This is in the way. I can't. He's like, all right, I'm leaving. He didn't really leave, obviously, but he's pretending. And then he lifts it up, bro, and he goes under, right? And in that moment, I thought was so dope because it shows right there, right? Even as a 2, 3 year old, it's like there's going to be adversity, and in that moment, that kid had to figure it out. Even at 2, 3 years old, had to figure out like I gotta, I really want to get to my dad, so I gotta figure this out. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, I think that helps build toughness
Kids
as
are
well.
smart, dude. Kids are like little sponges, man. They absorb everything. Kids are smart.
They are, man. They are, man. So I wanted to ask you what. So I got two more questions, or this is my second to last question.
All right.
But what's one thing you think society needs to do better when it comes to raising boys into men? And when I'm saying society, because obviously we're talking about social media, we're talking about different things like that, you know.
Well, you know what? You just brought up my answer. Get rid of social media. Get rid of
Mm,
because literally, bro, that's when you think about it, that's what's poisoning the kids. That's what's poisoning the kids. What do you think you see? They see every second, just men,
mm,
boys, just being put through the grinder, things like that. You know, men. Videos of men being told, "Oh, suck it up, you're a man." It's like, oh man, get rid of social
mm,
media. Get rid of that crap.
mm.
Go back. Go
Yeah,
back to riding a bike. Go swim in a swimming pool, play catch, do something, but just get rid of social media. And
yeah, yeah.
that's literally what's the ruin of everything, man.
No, I agree, man, and because too, right? Like you have a And I'm not saying some of these things don't happen, but you have Lifetime or you have those Tyler Perry movies that every Tyler Perry movie, I don't watch
Me
Tyler
neither.
Perry movies, but every Tyler Perry movie, literally, you already know the dude's like a liar, he's a cheater, he's like this terrible person, right? And so, like, when women or young girls or whatever are watching this, it's like, oh, dudes are constantly bad. Dudes are like, I remember growing up at times and hearing, oh, you're a liar. Like, guys lie. Like, wait, no, I'm not. Like, I mean, obviously everyone has lied, right? But I remember like growing up at times feeling bad. Like, wait, what? Like, all of a sudden I'm this bad dude? No, but it was something deeper that like my mom was dealing with at the time, right? And so I didn't understand that, but it's just different things like that, bro. Where I agree. Like social media for sure would be a big
Get rid of
step,
it.
and yeah, I mean people would go
Who
crazy
cares? Let them
because
go
they wouldn't know what
crazy.
to do. They would have to actually have a conversation,
Who
bro, with people.
cares? That's what we need, man. That's what
True,
people need,
true.
man. Put down the social media. If you want to meet people, go to a library, go to a Starbucks, hell, go to a Walmart, Target. Who cares? Go to a bar. But get off the damn social media.
Yeah.
Get these kids off of that crap.
Mm, true. No, that's real, bro. That's real. And then I want to ask you, bro, like what what has what has I guess over the years what's probably the biggest thing? Because like you said not even necessarily your upbringing, but just life and period. So what has been like one of the biggest moments or biggest events, whatever, that really like had you really start understanding your value, your worth, and understanding like what, like these things aren't okay. Like you might allow certain things before, but you're like, I'm no longer okay with that. Like, what was that event or what was that moment that took place for you?
Okay. I have the answer for you. So I'm not going to get into specifics regarding my personal life,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
essentially separating. I'll leave it at that.
mm,
Separating.
okay, mm, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just going to get short and
No,
simple
that's
separating.
yeah. So okay, but well, I'll ask you this. So without going into detail, this is completely different. So like you say, you have those boundaries for yourself. You have that new, not that you didn't have respect for yourself, but you have even that more self-respect for yourself, that more love, that you're like, hey, I'm not tolerating this. Hey, these are things I appreciate. Hey, I have feelings too. Like it's not just about how you feel, like how do I feel on this, right? So if you're able to find that unicorn, right? If you're able to find that unicorn where there is a woman that is able to be a little bit more nurturing and not so caught up in social media, not trying to be a Kardashian or all them other things, right? like a real like, is there a chance? Because I know you said you would never ever even entertaining marry again, but if this unicorn came around, and all the things that you have now learned that you're like I no longer tolerate, right? She meets all those criterias, and she is one of one. She's not like everyone else. Would that be a possibility where you would actually think about it because she is not like everyone else, or is it still something where you're like you could never see yourself going there?
It's a possibility, yes. It's a possibility
Mm.
for a unicorn to come like that around. Hell yeah, dude. Of
Mm-hmm.
course. I'd give that a shot. I'd love to get to know them and see where it goes.
Yeah,
Now, of course, I say
yeah,
that now in regards to marriage, but at the same time, never say never. You don't know what 10, 15 years may look like from today,
true, true.
you know?
True, man. And that's a mature
Yeah,
answer right
dude.
there, bro. Because you could have the mindset like, no, forget this. But no,
Exactly.
that's
10,
that's real,
15
bro.
years from now, could be a different story, bro.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's real, bro. But what I like to do too, bro. I like to always, before I close, I like to give their flowers, man. So one again, Dennis, like I appreciate your time, bro. You know what I mean? I definitely appreciate, and shoot, you made me feel bad because you was like, bro, you haven't told me about when we record. I'm like, oh shoot, like my bad,
Ain't
bro.
good.
So but nah, man. But I just appreciate that because that just tells me, man, is like what, like fathers are really like, what I mean, gravitating towards it, man. And I thank you for that, bro. And I thank you for just one for sharing and you know I know every time you share stories with your son and stuff, man, I know how much he means to you and you know you're constantly trying to improve and be the best version you could be for your
Always.
son, which is dope, man. So you know your son is very blessed to have you,
Thank you.
bro. Very very blessed to have you, man. And just keep being the amazing dude you are, bro. Obviously, none of us are perfect,
Oh
but
man.
you know, what I mean, the fact that you understand that and you're like, hey, you know what? I have messed up here, but I'm learning from it. It's only going to not only better you, but better your son because now your son, as he gets older, he's just going to continue to see the best version of you. So that's dope, bro.
Always.
Yeah, man. So appreciate you again, man. And yeah, guys, you know, like always, you don't have to be perfect, but you always have to be present. See you guys on the next one.